Right, folks, welcome back to another video beer review. Today we have a double IPA from Beer Hunters. This was kindly given to me by Mr. Jimmy. I know I'm a bit late with some of these, you know, because I was out in Estonia in February and it's now May. But yeah, I haven't reviewed anything for a couple of weeks, and then also been doing bits and bobs and stuff. And double IPAs, I don't really want to drink them during the week. So I've been trying to have lower, more sessionable stuff in that time. And saving this for a special occasion, which is known as a Friday night. I am still working tomorrow, but I'm not working until tomorrow evening. So it's fine. You can have a double IPA on a Friday. So, 8%, 440ml can, of course, Beer Hunters. Let's... should have done some more research into this. I know when Jimmy gave me all the cans, he gave me like all the info at the same time, and that will literally, I'll be like, that's a beautiful can design, sort of thing. And I actually realised that more and more today. I was in the office very briefly. I was in my office very briefly, and one of the sales chaps, marketing chap, came down, and I was able to he basically put a load of our labels on the top of other cans just so we could kind of work out, you know, mock-ups sort of thing. From about that much of the label behind it, I was able to work out what beer it was. That's bad. And two were Ansbach, no, one was Ansbach, no, two were Ansbach and Hop Day. One was a Waddy's beer, and the other one was a Stone Daisy, and I was able to see it from that much. So that's why, you know, branding is really important on a can of beer. And this is pretty bold. It's pretty bold. I'd say it's relatively generic, but it's. I'd like to see what the rest of the cans are that this brewery does. But anyway, it is a double IPA, it's a good old session IPA. Citra, Simcoe and Mazerga the hops. IBU is 50, so quite high. Are we going to go more down the line of West Coast with that? I'd say maybe West Coast would probably be higher. I never know, because you don't get breweries putting the IBUs on their cans anymore. EBC of 10, Plato of 17 degrees. So for us, I don't know what that is. That might be malt. Is that malt? Or ingredients, maybe? Or ingredients, seems to be ingredients. I don't know what Kvals mean. Kvals might mean hop, I don't fucking know. Coltonen, Hedelmannen. So I'm pretty sure it's finished. You'll know by the title. I'm reading it and I think that looks Finnish. In fact, it says Finland beneath it, you blind bastard. Beer Hunters, Panimo, Pori, Finland. I don't know if this is local to Jimmy at all, but best before 12th of August 2025. Let's crack it open and see what lies within. It's been a lovely day today, lovely weather. A very hot one for sure. On the brew pad, it was 49 degrees whilst I was sparging. This is definitely looking like a West Coast style rather than a New England, which I'm all for. It is smelling kind of like a West Coast, I'd say, and it looks like one as well. You know, slight haze to it and coppery kind of orange colour. It smells a bit malty, if I'm honest. But I don't mind that too much on a classic West Coast. Like bready, a little bit orangey. The citrus notes, I'd say marmalade-y, you know, with that heavy malt backbone on it. Bit of a grapefruit, overripe mango, a little touch of like some honeydew melon sort of note. Smells pretty damn solid for a Westie. We'll dive in. Cheers. Cheers again, Jimmy. That is fucking banging. And as a West Coast, sorry, my camera seems to be tilting slowly up. As a West Coast, that is That's what West Coast used to be about. Like proper West Coast dippers used to be all about this. It's not pissing around with the ABV at all. That you know it is that ABV. It's sweet, almost caramelised, sugary, almost Belgian candy sugar sort of style. Sort of flavours of it, quite chewy, caramel sort of notes. There's almost a little touch of licorice in there as well. But then behind that you've got marmaladey, chewy orange, bit of pineapple cube, relatively fruity. That's a proper West Coast dipper, that. And very much reminds me of the beers that I had maybe 10 years ago in the UK, if not more. Jesus Christ, definitely more than that, because the New England IPA craze seemed to have landed. I think it was about 2015, I think, New England IPA started really taking off in the UK and have not fucked off since. I love them, but, there are other styles. I remember back then you wouldn't necessarily see waves of styles, but maybe you would actually. You would see lots of different styles. IPA was the one that kind of sat all the way through, but you see breweries trying to do different styles all the time. And then when New England IPA came in, some people tried to change it. Brut IPA tried to make an appearance. It was shit and it fucked off pretty quickly. Lager has made an appearance and is very much there. Nitro Stouts has come in massively in the past year, but nothing is quite and sours as well. Nothing has quite ever taken over the style or the scene quite what New England IPAs has. West Coast IPAs obviously were huge, and that was the thing before. But this is a truly fantastic representation of old school, or what I remember 12 years ago, if not more. What I remember when I was first getting into beer. That's a proper Westy dipper, and I'd be proud of that as well. I'd be proud of that if I was a brewer. That is very, very good. Very, very good. So yeah, Beer Hunters double IPA dipper. I love how it's just dipper, because it's almost like they may have done other versions. They may have done New England styles, but that's what I remember dippers being all about. So yeah, that's cracking. See you next one. Cheers.